So let's solve this quadratic by completing the square. The very first step is to move the constant, the minus 11, over to the other side. So we need to get rid of that 11, so we'll add 11 to each side. Okay? And so it cancels out there on the left, and so we have k squared minus 10k is equal to 11. And now we're ready to go ahead and we're ready to complete the square on the left-hand side here. So we'll take that number that's in front of the variable there, the negative 10. To complete the square, you always take and divide it by 2 and square it. Okay? Negative 10 divided by 2 is negative 5, and negative 5 squared is 25. So that equals 25 there. So we're going to add that number to both sides of our equation. So we add 25 to both sides of our equation there. So on the left-hand side now, we have k squared minus 10k plus 25 is equal to 36. Okay? Now that we have a perfect square trinomial here on the left side of the equation, we can go ahead and factor it. This will factor into k minus 5 squared. The shortcut for factoring this, just take half of that number that's in front of your variable there. Half of negative 10 is negative 5, and so that's what number goes here. To get rid of the square, we're just going to square root both sides. So now what we have there is k minus 5 is equal to, oh, and don't forget that plus or minus in front of the square root there. So k minus 5 is equal to plus or minus, and the square root of 36 is 6. We're just going to go ahead and add the 5 to both sides of this equation now to get rid of it on the left. And we've now solved for k. So k is equal to 5 plus or minus 6. Separating that out, we have k is equal to 5 plus 6 would be 11. Okay? And then the other value, k is equal to 5 minus 6, would be a negative 1. Okay? So there's our two answers. Now let us real quick discuss why this works. So quickly here, the reason why this process works, so the reason why we have to do each step, is as follows. So we move this 11 over to the other side here of the equation, and the reason why we move the 11 over to the other side is so that we can then only have the number on the end here of this trinomial. So here we had a negative 11, but here we have 25. We only have a number here that allows us to have a perfect square trinomial. And the use for that is, when we factor it, we bring this k. So here we have a k squared, we have a k right there. We bring the k all together as a single k. Now this is useful because now we can actually solve for k. So before we had k squared and k separate. Okay, we brought it together as a single variable k. Okay? So we're able to factor this and bring it together all together in this type of this binomial here. Okay? Now it's easy to get rid of the square. All you have to do is square root. Okay? The plus and minus is there, and the reason for that is because what's inside the square here could have been positive or negative. Okay? So we have to add the plus and minus. And last but not least, we just need to finish solving for k. We'll just add 5 to both sides. That'll cancel out the 5 on the left. And so we're left with 5 plus or minus 6. And then we separate it out. We take the 5 plus 6. That makes 11. 5 minus 6 would make the negative 1.